world for the continued support of this event. We will have a full Fight Week media schedule will be distributed later this week, and we look forward to seeing media from around the world next week in New York City at the world's most famous arena. The first part of the call will have Tom Loeffler, Oscar De La Hoya, Hbo Sanchez, and Gennady Golovkin. The second part will also have Oscar, David Lemieux, Mark Ramsey, and Camille Esteban. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce Tom Loeffler, the Managing Director of K2 Promotions.
Thanks, Bernie. We couldn't be more excited about this promotion. I mean, ever since we announced the fight, the title unification fight between the two biggest punchers in the middleweight division, that was back in July, and the momentum has grown. I have to give Oscar and his company, Golden Boy Promotions, and the entire Lemieux team a lot of credit for accepting the fight with Gennady Golovkin. It's a true middleweight unification fight. It's going to be in a sold-out arena at Madison Square Garden. Madison Square Garden has been very supportive of this event. HBO Ppv is very supportive of the event, and the numbers are just very optimistic on the pay-per-view side. So we had a very successful media training day yesterday with Gennady at the Wild Card West, and Brian Valoria was there also. It's a tremendous co-feature with Chocolatito Gonzalez versus Brian Valoria, and with that, I'd like to bring on our co-promoter on the event, Oscar.
Thank you very much, Tom, and I would also like to thank Tom and K2 Promotions and Gennady Golovkin for taking this matchup. I mean, obviously, this is a matchup that a lot of people across the globe are salivating about. You have the two punchers, two fighters who are gladiators, are warriors, great knockout punching power. This is one fight that the whole world is excited about, and so thank you very much to Gennady Golovkin for taking this huge chance against David Lemieux. I'm pleased today to call ahead of this epic showdown that will surely be bombs away between Gennady Golovkin and David Lemieux on Saturday, October 17th, live from the Madison Square Garden and broadcast live on HBO Pay-Per-View. I mean, HBO is the best network to watch boxing, so I know that they will have a phenomenal telecast plan, and trust me, you will get your money's worth. IBF middleweight world champion David Lemieux has an impressive record of 34 wins with 2 losses and 31 knockouts. I've watched him train in Montreal recently, and let me tell you that he is looking incredible. He's looking sharp, he's looking fast, he's looking strong, and eager to get inside the ring with Triple G. David Lemieux and Gennady Golovkin represent what I feel is the next generation of talented champion fighters of our sport. I mean, for the fans, obviously, this is very exciting news. These guys don't hold back in the ring, which means guaranteed action from the first bell. It will be bombs away. The fans are the real winners here, October 17, and I cannot wait for this event. And obviously, we're extremely proud to be working alongside Tom and his team at K2 Promotions. So thank you very much.
So with that, just to add on what Oscar said, it's two champions coming into the ring, both putting their titles on the line, and that's what the fans have responded to. As Oscar said many times, the best fighting the best, and that's what the fans and the media want to see. The pay-per-view is priced very reasonably at $49.95. Had a great response from the Road 2 show that aired last Saturday, and the Face-Off is going to air next Saturday, and that's actually a unique format where it's not only the two fighters facing off, but also the two trainers. Mark Ramsey is the kind of the strategist behind David Lemieux, and David's been undefeated since he's been working with Mark. And Hbo Sanchez really has laid out the whole blueprint for Gennady's Mexican style and the transition that he's made with the professional style, which has allowed him 20 knockouts in a row. So with that being said, I want to bring on the phone Abel Sanchez from his training camp in Big Bear Lake, California.
Good morning to everybody. We are extremely happy to be part of this epic event. I think it's about time that promoters and managers and fighters put their records on the line, put their belts on the line, and the best fight the best. And glad that Tom is the kind of promoter for Gennady that is going to negotiate with everybody, and also being the same way. So we're finally going to see a fight that the fans have been waiting to see, the kind of fight that the fans have been waiting to see. So we're looking forward to the 17th. I know Mark is going to have David very ready. Gennady's going to be ready, and like Oscar said, he's going to be bombs away. So we're looking forward to an explosive fight for as long as it lasts.
With that, I'd like to bring on the phone the WBA Super Champion, the Hbo and WBC Interim Champion, is Gennady Triple G Golovkin.
Good morning, everybody. I have great training camp. I feel good. I'm ready to October 17th. I think David is ready to hunt for fans. I promise good show, good event. Not just one fight, just couple fights amazing, just big present people. Thank you to my coach, Hbo Sanchez, and to my team. Thank you, promotions. Thank you, Golden Boy Promotions, and KG Promotions. This big deal, this big present for us, for boxing fans, for people, and for sports, for boxing. Thank you.
So Bernie, you want to open up for questions now for the?
Yes. Ethan, go ahead and give me instructions again.
If you have a question, please press star then 1 on your touch-tone phone. If you would like to be removed from the queue, please press the pound sign or the hash key. If you're using a speakerphone, you may need to pick up the handset first before pressing the numbers.
Go ahead with our first question, Ethan.
All right, and it looks like our first question comes from Gail Falkenthal from Community Digital New. Go ahead, Gail.
Good day, everybody. I've got a question, I think probably primarily for Abel. Abel, we are talking about a very offensive, aggressive fight, but what kind of defensive instruction have you given to Gennady, or have you worked on any defense for this fight?
Well, I think it's important to point out that the HBO CompuBox system rates Gennady as the third best defensive fighter with 10 or more fights. Andre Ward, Canelo, a lot of those guys are behind him. So when it comes to defense, I think he's pretty adept at it. We have worked on all aspects of training just because we have a force in front of us. We have a David Lemieux, who is a very strong puncher and a very aggressive kind of fighter, comes forward. So we work on all aspects of it to make sure that we're ready for whatever David brings.
Would you like to see Gennady recognized a little more for that defensive skill? I think that ranking would surprise a lot of fans.
No, it doesn't really matter to me if he's recognized for it or not, as long as the fans enjoy his style of fighting. I think that this fight has done so well at the box office, and his numbers on HBO have done well. Hopefully the pay-per-view does well because of that, because of his style, because of his aggressive style, as in David's also. I mean, that's what the fans want to see. The fans want to go back those days, those yesterdays of great fights where the guys just, with intelligence and with defensive skills, fought great fights, and they stood in the middle of the ring and went at each other. I think that's what this fight's going to represent, is what's going to happen in this fight.
Thank you, Abel. Good night, Gennady, and we'll see you all in New York.
Thank you.
And our next question comes from Dan Raphael from ESPN. Dan, go ahead.
Thank you very much. Hey, guys. My first question for you, Gennady. My question for you is, we as Abel was talking about, we know that your defense is maybe a little bit underrated. We all know about your great knockout streak and your offense. David Lemieux, though, is also known for having...
Yeah, that cut out a little bit.
Looks like he... All right, Dan, your line is now open once again.
Oh, Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you now.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Were you not hearing me before, I guess, right?
No, I cut out.
Okay. What I was asking about was basically we know about Gennady's defense and his offense. We know about Lemieux's offense. I'd like to know from Gennady, does he think more about the kind of power that Lemieux supposedly has, or the fact that he has been knocked out in the past, and therefore he thinks that it will be a big difference of him able to get to Lemieux's chin? In other words, is there one thing he's more interested in, protecting his own chin from his punching power, or looking to go get him because he's shown the fact that he hasn't been able to maybe take the best punch previously? I'd like Gennady's thoughts about that.
No, good morning. You're right. We'll have maybe probably same power, same defense, and same style. Yeah, you're right. I think so. We'll have a little bit different style, like class, boxing class, like mentality, boxing IQ.
I guess so. I mean, put it like this. Will you be able to take his punch better than he'll be able to take your punch?
Yeah. I think, we'll have both great punch. Maybe he has strong too. I know my power too. It's not just power, just time. Just a little bit different class, boxing class. Timing, speed, discipline, and position. This is very important for us.
Abel, could you weigh in on that?
Yeah, well, what he's trying to say is, I think that he's the smarter fighter in the fight. They both have power, they both have speed, they both have great knockout records, but the IQ, the boxing IQ, will be the difference, because I think he thinks that it's a different class as far as that part of it, and he'll be able to get to David because he'll figure him out. But David can punch, so it's not going to be like it's going to be an easy fight. So both of them have the same kind of punching power, but the IQ is a little higher in the sense boxing-wise.
Understood. Another question for you, Gennady. One of the reasons why there have been some bigger name fighters who haven't really been interested to fight you at this point, they say, Gennady, he's not that well known. He doesn't really bring a lot to the table. And I look at the way this promotion is going, the expectations for this fight, the way that your television ratings have been on HBO. Then I see you in this major commercial on TV the other night with the Apple Watch. It seems to me that people can't say Gennady Golovkin doesn't bring anything to the table anymore. Can you address that and the fact that you seem to have crossed over to a certain degree where now it will become worthwhile for people to fight you because there will be riches involved in that?
I am a boxer. Just respect my team, this great work. This is my first step for future, maybe for my story, and this for promoter story, thanks to promoter this good work. I respect my opponent. I know this unification fight. He's champion too. It's a big deal for us. This is my first step. Just respect everybody.
Tom, could you address that perhaps on where Gennady brings financially now? With people can't run from him anymore because there's no money.
Dan, I think that excuse was not valid anymore over a year ago. I mean, when Gennady sold out the StubHub Center, when he had over 12,000 people at the Forum, people used that excuse in the past of a reason why it didn't make sense to fight Gennady. But you see, with this promotion and with the dance partner, with the Gennady having a marketable opponent with him who's another champion, I mean, that brings this to a whole different level. And that's what we've always said is the marketability for Gennady. And you touched on, the Apple commercial campaign that we did with Gennady that debuted on Monday Night Football. And it was we got a tremendous reaction. He's just a very marketable fighter and a likable fighter, and David Lemieux is also very marketable, very popular as a champion as well. So that's what it's just the chemistry of the promotion and the two champions fighting each other that's taken this to a completely different level.
Tom, one thing very quickly, by the way. I certainly know who Gennady is, and boxing fans and other boxing writers know who Gennady is, but they didn't identify him in the commercial. Any particular reason for that? I mean, so there might be some people who don't know him, who still don't know him. They saw it, but they're not really sure who it is.
They've done 5 or 6 different spots with different people in different segments. So they didn't distinguish the people, the individuals on the commercial campaign, but they definitely have on the Apple website. They've identified who's in each segment. So
gotcha. Okay.
That's how they've identified the people.
Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate it, and I'll see you next week. Thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Dan.
And our next question comes from Robert Morales from Los Angeles Daily News. Robert, go ahead.
Thank you. This question is for Abel. Abel, everybody improves as they go along, and I understand that. But, in 2011, Lemieux lost to Marco Antonio Rubio and Joaquin Alcine. Just how dangerous is David Lemieux? I know he's got a lot of knockouts, but as Evander Holyfield once told me, it's not how many knockouts you have, it's who you've been knocking out. In your mind, if you look at his ring record, just how impressed are you?
Well, first of all, going back to the Rubio fight, I think he was a young man at 22 or 23 years old who everybody was laying riches in front of him. I believe before that fight they had an HBO special on him, and they were touting him as the next big thing at 22 years old. I believe he was a little too young. He fought a guy that was very experienced. Marco Rubio took all he had to throw for the first 6 rounds and then tired him out and was able to put him away. But that was inexperience on David's part. The skills were still there, the punching power was still there. It was just inexperience that made him lose that fight, in my opinion. Then Mark Ramsey comes in after those 2 losses, and now they're on a roll. They're on a roll because Mark has taken over not only physically but mentally over David's boxing program. So it's easy for David now to just listen to somebody instead of being the boss and doing things his way. Now he's got a guy that's running the show for him. So he's fought in the last 3 or 4 fights. He's fought some. I think he's a pretty good fighter. The last fight in Dom was a world champion. Went down a couple times, I guess, but he's a very difficult guy to fight. He beat Curtis Stevens. I witnessed that down in Santa Monica. So he's not a bad fighter. So David has got, I'm not going to say an extensive resume, but he's got fighters on his record that have done something. And the thing you can't take away from David is that he can't punch. He proved that in the last 3 or 4 fights. He can't punch. So that's something that on the 17th, it can go either way. If David lands a good punch and Gennady's not ready, maybe Gennady goes down. So we're definitely looking for the best David Lemieux and the biggest punch.
Okay, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. Sorry for not calling yesterday, by the way.
No, that's all right, brother.
And once again, if you have a question, please press star then 1 on your touch-tone phone. And our next question comes from Bob Veland from USA Today. Bob, please go ahead.
Hey, how's it going, guys? My question's for Tom. Tom, regarding Gennady's first pay-per-view, what would you consider to be a success?
Bob, we're always very conservative with our estimates. HBO was very supportive of the event. They wouldn't have, greenlit or supported the event if they didn't think it was going to be successful. When we made the deal with Golden Boy, it was a very fair deal as far as how the structure of the promotion is. And I think, as the promotion's gone along, a great indicator for pay-per-view sales is ticket sales. And when this event broke the pre-sale record of any boxing event that MSG has had, and then sold 15,000 tickets within the first week, that's a huge indication that the pay-per-view is going to be successful. But I'm always conservative on the estimates, and I think it'll be a very I'm very optimistic on the results for the pay-per-view.
Do you feel, and this is kind of piggybacking on Dan's question, but do you feel that this is that Gennady is well known enough around the country to attract people? Because David Lemieux is a Canadian. he's well known to boxing fans, but is he well enough known that people are going to say, I have to see this fight?
I think it's more so than the individuals is the combination of the two champions fighting each other. Gennady is breaking through where he's going into the mainstream. A lot of we brought him to different entertainment events, and a lot of the entertainers said they're his favorite fighter. So he's definitely crossing over. And when you have a matchup against a guy like David Lemieux, look, if this was somebody that wasn't known, or two fighters that weren't known in the main event, we wouldn't have sold 15,000 tickets in the first week. So I understand what you're saying as far as you need a broader scale, broader base for the pay-per-view, and it's a risk that we took. When we sat down with Oscar and his team at Golden Boy, it's like neither fighter has been on a pay-per-view. Also with Chocolatito and Valoria, it's the same situation. But when you put all that combination together, it's a great value for the fans and for the event, and I think the boxing fans will really respond to this event.
And having Chocolatito on the card also increases your Hispanic viewership, I would think, huh?
No, there's no question. It's a perfect combination. Having Chocolatito against Brian Valoria. Brian Valoria is very popular as the he was on the 2000 Olympic team for the United States, and brings a very strong Filipino following with him, and Chocolatito a very strong Hispanic following with them. So it's a great 1-2 punch, and that's really where our optimism is as far as the success of the event.
Thank you, Tom.
Thanks, Bob.
Appreciate it. Good luck, guys.
Thank you.
And our next question comes from Andreas Hale from Ring Magazine. Andreas, go ahead.
Hey, guys. Abel, this question is for you. Gennady recently said that, you've been working on his Mexican style. Can you kind of elaborate what it means to be fighting a Mexican style?
The Mexican style that we're trying to develop with him, we have been trying to develop with him, it's just a more entertaining style, a style that is reminiscent of some of the fights in the past, Duran, Gomez, Sanchez, Chavez, and even Oscar's fights of 20 years ago or 15 years ago, where guys stood in the middle of the ring and went at each other, and his defense, of course, to use their legs and give the fans the kind of fight that they deserve for the money that they're paying. So it's more of to answer that question a little easier, it's just more of an entertaining, aggressive, American public type fight.
And how would you say Gennady has progressed in adopting this Mexican style over the past few fights?
I think he's done very well. I think that this is the fight that finally presents a challenge to him mentally. I've always said in the past that the great fighters, it's not so much the physical challenge, but it's the mental challenge that's important to them. In this training camp, he has proven me right by just the attitude, just the atmosphere in the gym has been so much different because he does perceive a challenge and perceive a fighter that is as strong as he is and punches as hard as he does. And for as long as the fight goes, he's going to have to be in his P's and Q's just like David will. And the guy that lands the first big punch is the guy that's going to go to sleep.
And one other question for you, Abel, and I hate to bring up Andre Ward's name, but do you believe that a lot of fighters now are starting to use Gennady's name to kind of get recognition for themselves? Because it seems like they're calling him out saying that he's ducking fighters, or Carl Froch said he's not as good a pound-for-pound fighter, but they always seem to have his name in their mouth.
I think that's history. I think that every young fighter is calling out the older fighter. When the older fighter gets to the young fighter's calling him out. At one point when Gennady was beginning, of course we were mentioning other names that were above us, but that's just the nature of the beast. That's something that has to be done so that your name is out of print. But at this point, it's okay for Andre to call his name out, but Andre needs to fight. Andre needs to fight to be relevant. Andre needs to fight so that the people don't forget who he is. Just because he won a Super 6 4 years ago and fought 2 times in the last 3 years against nondescript opponents doesn't make him qualified for those kind of fights. So I think that if he starts fighting and becomes relevant, then we should have fighters down the road. But until then, doesn't make any sense to us.
Cool. Thank you, Abel.
And our next question comes from Dave Spencer from Fight News. Dave, please go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon. Question for Gennady. There's been a lot of terms through this promotion and this conference call about breaking through, being more entertaining with a Mexican style, this fight finally presenting a challenge. There's a couple of other significant middleweight fights coming up in the near future with Quinlan and Jacobs and Alvarez Cotto. Do you see this as a breakthrough fight for you, and where do you see yourself in about a year's time with these two significant fights on the horizon as well?
You know, you're right. Right now I focus on Lemieux because I respect him. He's a good fighter. You know, he's champion. In the future, yes, of course. Right now in middleweight division is a very good situation. It's a very interesting situation. You know, 3 or 4 fighters like pay-per-view fighters, Canelo Alvarez, Miguel Cotto, and Willie. These pay-per-view fighters. I want unification fight. My goal is all about middleweight division. You know, my focus on middleweight division. Why not? And Quinlan with Jacobs fight. This is very good too. You know, it's very interesting for us. For not just for us, just for middleweight division.
Okay.
Great 3 or 4 fights in middleweight division. Very nice situation.
Okay. At the age of 33, certainly not to say you're old, but is there any acceleration or rush to get these fights made sooner than later?
Oh, it's promoters. You know, I feel great. I feel like 20. You know, I respect like Baron Hawkins. I feel like look at him. He's 50. He's like 30 years old. Oh, he's a young guy and very smart guy. So
he's also an alien, but
absolutely, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
And our last question comes from Mike Woods from Ring and the Sweet Science. Mike, go ahead.
Hey guys, how you doing? Can you hear me?
Hi, Mike.
Yes, yeah.
All right, good stuff. My question is about the stakes for the fight. The fight stands on its own merit quite well, but there are some big stakes down the line. This question is for Oscar, if he's still on the call, and Tom. I do wonder, have you guys made an agreement in principle to have the winner of this fight the winner of Cotto and Canelo?
Well, I can go first on that, Michael. It's
okay.
As you mentioned, there is a lot at stake. Not only the winner having unified the titles, but then also is in the position of being the mandatory for the winner of Cotto Canelo, which is also a great fight a month later. So it's really exciting times, as Gennady alluded to, in the middleweight division. It would be premature, really, to start having any discussions with Oscar because we don't know who's going to win on October 17th, and we don't know who's going to win November 21st. But after that all shakes out, it's going to be great times moving forward, and just continuing the path of trying to unify the titles.
Oscar, your thoughts on that?
Yes, I mean, it would be premature to even talk about such a matchup. October 17th is such an important fight for Triple G and David Lemieux, and November 21st is an important and dangerous fight for Canelo and Cotto. So we don't know what the outcome will be. We don't know what's going to happen. So it would be very premature to even discuss it. But it's definitely
Absolutely. Thanks a lot, guys. See you soon.
Thanks, Mike.
That'll wrap up our end of the call, Tom. Why don't you go ahead, Gennady, if you've got some closing comments, go ahead, please, from Big Bear Lake, California.
Yeah. Just thank you so much, everybody. Just don't lose my fight, October 17. I'm going to amazing show. It's a great show for people. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thanks, Gennady. Abel, just a couple of days away from leaving from New York City. How are things going up there?
Things are going great. We're a couple of days from wrapping up the training camp. Friday's our last day. It's becoming that event that we all had hoped it would be, and we're looking forward to the 17th, putting on a great show in front of a sold-out crowd. Great.
Thanks very much, Abel. Thanks so much, Gennady, for joining us from your camp. Tom, go ahead with some closing comments, please.
Just to reemphasize, two champions in the ring. Gennady has a great dance partner with David Lemieux. That's what's going to create fireworks in the ring. On the promotional side, I have a great dance partner with Oscar and Golden Boy Promotions. They've really been very supportive with the whole promotion, and I think all the fans and all the media are going to be in for a great event October 17th.
Thanks very much, Tom. We'll turn the call over now to Cecilia Zanuga from Golden Boy Promotions and introduce David Lemieux's side. Go ahead, Cecilia.
Thank you, Bernie. Hi, everyone. I'm going to go on a very small break, 1 minute maximum, to make sure we're all on the line and ready to take over all your questions. So, Ethan, go ahead and put us on a short break.
Welcome back to the conference call. Once again, if you have a question, please press star then 1 on your touch-tone phone. I will now turn the call over to Cecilia Zuniga from Golden Boy Promotions. Cecilia, please go ahead.
Thank you so much, Ethan. I want to go ahead and thank all the media members for joining us today. Now, for the second portion of the call, I would like to introduce Team Lemieux. I would like to reintroduce Oscar De La Hoya, Chairman and CEO of Golden Boy Promotions.
Thank you very much, Cecilia. As all the media has already heard all the details about this terrific event, let me go ahead and introduce you to Team Lemieux. First off, I am pleased to introduce to you Miguel Cotto. I am the Tiger Management, and he is the manager of David Lemieux.
Hello, Oscar. Thank you. Great being here today. Looking forward to a wonderful event. Everything's been said. There isn't too much more to say. I'll give you a little bit our perspective as we head into this with 10 days left. So, we have the top 2 middleweights in the world fighting each other. This is a real treat. It's a real treat for the fans. It's a breath of fresh air for boxing. It would be like 2 titans fighting each other, or 2 major mountains. I don't know. Imagine Everest versus Kilimanjaro. I'm excited. The pleasantries are finished. Now it's time for the action. We are coming to New York to beat Golovkin and take the belts. That's the goal, and the only goal. We have done our homework very, very well. We feel extremely confident because of the work we have put in. And the stage is set. Guys, 10 days to go. Can't wait for the 17th. MSG is going to be rocking.
Thank you, Camille. And now the man in charge of getting David Lemieux ready for this battle on October 17th. He is his trainer, Mark Ramsey. Mark.
Hi, everybody. It's a pleasure to speak with you today. We just had an amazing training camp. David just reached every single objective that we fixed for that great victory for next week, and we had like I say, a very, very good training camp. Now we working on some finishing, and everything's going to be ready for next Saturday.
Thank you very much, Mark. Well, David is ready for this test. He is looking the best I've ever seen him look. My business partner, the legendary middleweight champion Bernard Hopkins, and I were in Montreal at David's media workout recently, and take it from us. We know a thing or two about what it takes to fight the very best and what it takes to be world champion, and David has it. He proved that in June with an exciting win over the dangerous Hassan Antam. And he will do it again on October 17th. So now I am pleased to introduce to you the current IBF middleweight world champion, both in an impressive record of 34-2 and 31 knockouts from Montreal, power puncher David Lemieux.
Hello. Thank you, Oscar. Thank you, everybody. It's been a great camp. It's been a great great training. Everything has been on spot. I've never had a more complete camp than this. I've been pushing myself to the maximum with each training, with each exercise, with everything, envisioning the big day ahead of me, October 17th. So I did everything I had to do to make sure I have no regrets on October 17th, because the plan is to walk out of the Madison Square Garden with those belts, and hopefully without a broken nose.
All right, well, we're ready to go ahead and start the Q&A portion of this call.
Thank you. If you have a question, please press star then 1 on your touch-tone phone. If you wish to be removed from the queue, please press the pound sign or the hash key. All right, and our first question comes from Dan Raphael from ESPN. Dan, please go ahead.
Hey, everybody. Hey, David, how are you?
I'm great. Hey, Dan. How's it going?
Good to talk to you. David, here's my question. Gennady Golovkin, when a lot of other fighters get asked about fighting him, they either ask for way too much money or they just say no. Yet when this fight came up, by all accounts from your team, from Oscar, from Camille, you wanted this fight right off the bat, not wanting to do anything else after you won your title. Some guys sit on it, maybe take an easier fight. Tell me, what was it in your mind that made you decide, you know what, I want the guy that everybody else doesn't want to fight?
Well, the initial plan in my head is that I'm ready, and it's now or never. Let's do it. Golovkin's at his best. I'm getting to my best, and I will be at my best on October 17th. So in my head, if I beat the best middleweight there is that everybody's pointing their fingers at, I'm gonna be the best. So that's the plan. I've been working very hard over the years, and I got a very significant win the last fight. I got title. I got the IBF, and now we took a big step, and we're here unifying the titles. So it's we're ready for it. That's why I took the fight.
David, I think most people look at it and say, going to be an exciting fight. That's just the way both of you guys perform. But that you're the underdog in this fight because of the top kind of streak that Triple G has been on over the last few years. And they look and they say, well, Lemieux, he got knocked out a few years ago, lost a couple of fights. How do you see that shaping up? And do those losses haunt you, or do they drive you at this point, or do they not matter anymore?
Those two losses are completely insignificant to where I am today, because everybody has their path, everybody has their ways of doing things, and their evolution in becoming a champion. Some guys go undefeated, some have defeats and become the greatest fighter out there. But I don't. They have zero signification anymore in my past, because those two losses, where there were some miscalculations in what I did. I lost those two fights because of things I neglected, and I changed everything in my life to be where I am at today. So I think it's been a big achievement from my behalf to where I am now, and the changes I've needed to do to fighting for unification titles. So it's a big step I took, and the numbers speak for themselves. Everybody understands the gravity of this fight. I think the people are going to be a bit surprised with what I bring to the table October 17th. I'm a big underdog in this fight, and to me it makes a difference. I know who I am, and I know what I'm going to bring to the table. So we'll see after the fight.
David, one thing that we know you bring is punching power. I wonder, do you just feel like that if you're able to get to him, that your power he's shown a great chin. I mean, if you ask him and his camp, they say that through 300 and plus amateur fights, his 30 plus professional fights, that he's never been on the floor, never been knocked down, never really been seriously hurt in a fight. But I'm not sure he ever fought a guy with the pure power that you have. So do you feel like that if you can touch the chin or get to the body or whatever, that you can be the first guy to do some serious damage to this guy and maybe get him on the deck?
I don't look at it his past or his future or anything in that. I'm going in there, me being neutral and him being neutral. We're two hard punchers, and it's gonna be we're both at 0-0 when we enter into that ring on October 17th. It's gonna be a hard test in front of me, but I'm really not worried. And yes, I do have power, but I'm not going in this fight only with power. I'm gonna need all the tools to be sharpened in a fight of this, degree. He's a very good fighter, very smart. But I think I got a lot of surprises to show the world.
How wary do you have to be of his punching power, which has been his calling card? He's got 20 knockouts in a row.
Power is not something that frightens me. Nothing really frightens me. Going in the ring when I know I'm prepared, I'm gonna take on the strongest there is, and I'm very confident in my strength. So I have zero worries going in a fight against anybody when I'm perfectly ready, which I am today.
David, thank you very much. I look forward to this one. Appreciate it. See you next week.
Thank you. Thanks.
And once again, if you have a question, please press star, then 1 on your touch-tone phone. And our next question comes from Jeffrey Freeman from the KO Digest. Jeffrey, please go ahead.
Hi, thank you for putting me on the call. Of course, my question is for David Lemieux. Hello, David.
Hello, Jeffrey. How are you?
Hi. Much respect, David, for your willingness to tangle with Golovkin so soon after winning your first world title. Obviously, a lesser competitor would have milked it. With the recent defeat of Lucas Matisse and the potential defeat of Canelo at the hands of Cotto, do you feel any extra motivation to keep the Golden Boy promotion's name relevant in boxing? Can you carry the Golden Boy banner on your shoulders if need be?
I think all the names associated with me are going to be very proud to be associated with me, as long as they're associated with me. Golden Boy, I have the Tiger, everybody that's with me are going to be proud. I bring a lot to the table, and I'm going to bring a tremendous amount of greatness on October 17th, so nobody's going to be disappointed. Not the fans, not my family, and not my teammates.
Right on. What are your thoughts on the Canelo-Cotto fight? Who do you think is going to win that, David?
I think it's a very interesting fight. Cotto being the veteran, Canelo being the young, hungry guy. But I think the younger, hungrier guy has the advantage in this fight, being Canelo. Cotto's a great fighter, but I'll give the edge. I think the edge is on Canelo this one.
One more question. We all know that you and Gennady Golovkin are the middleweight power punchers. I know this has been touched upon a little in the call, but real simply, what will be more important in this fight, David, the good chin or the power punch?
The biggest heart.
The good punch?
The fighter with the biggest heart that can take and receive. It's not about power. This fight. It's about character, and it's about toughness and determination, and who wants more. It's gonna be. We're both heart punchers. Everybody knows that. But let's see beyond that.
Right on. Good luck, David Lemieux.
Thank you.
And our next question comes from Jean-Luc Legende from RDS. Jean-Luc, please go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, my question is for David. David, I will ask my question in English for everyone, but I will appreciate if you can translate your answer right after in French, just for my son back. So, Abel Sanchez just told us that the difference in that fight will be the boxing IQ that Gennady Golovkin had the edge on that factor. Did you think that your lack of experience can be a factor, and you will do your best to show that you have the real great and fun experience necessary to make a good match?
You want it in French or in English?
Both.
Okay. Well, I think Hbo Sanchez and the whole team are quite underestimating me, but you know, October 17th, I'm going to be very, very well prepared with my boxing abilities, my boxing skills, my strength, and everything around it. So I'm going to be a very complete fighter. It's not. I'm not just David Lemieux, the power puncher, but I'm also David Lemieux, the fighter. So I'm going to come in there very complete and make sure that everything is well-rounded to perfection.
And in French, please, en français, s'il te plaît.
Je pense que Abel Sanchez, il essaie de trouver de quoi discuter pour faire des sujets, mais venir en disant que Golovkin il a la meilleure boxe que moi, bah, peut-être c'est vrai, peut-être c'est pas vrai, mais non, le 17 octobre, ça va pas faire de différence, parce que moi je suis un combattant qui est très difficile, c'est très complet, et maintenant très prêt pour l'adversité que je vais avoir le 17 octobre. Alors, j'ai des surprises à leur montrer.
Merci, David. Thanks, everyone.
Oui.
And our next question comes from Dave Spencer from Fight News. Dave, please go ahead.
Yeah, hi, David. How are you?
I'm great. How are you, Dave?
Good. I wanted to talk not so much about the fight, but the whole promotion leading up to the fight. Most of your fights in the past have all been local affairs taking place at the Bell Center. This one's been quite different with the whole pay-per-view, press conferences in New York and LA, conference calls, lots of public training. I'm just wondering how that whole being on a much bigger stage, how it's been for you, and have you enjoyed it?
It's been great. This is the biggest achievement a fighter can have, to get a chance to unify the titles at Madison Square Garden, being filled up the way it is. I think I've came a long way. Golovkin has done a great job. We're two great fighters, and we're there to show the world what they want to see. But there will be only one that walks out of that place with the belt, and I'm planning to do that. It's been a great camp. It's been a tremendous achievement. Getting the IBF World Title against a very hard opponent, a very good opponent like Hassan Andam. And now we stepped a few more steps even higher, fighting against Golovkin, unifying those titles. So it's gonna be. I'm very confident going in the fight, and I'm very happy. I'm very pleased of myself and my team to be where I am and to be doing what I'm doing.
Getting a taste of it, how eager are you to continue at this level and have bigger and bigger fights as your future emerges?
Well, we're at a big fight right now, so I'll take care of that. And the future comes fast enough. So I'll take it a step at a time, and I want to do great things in my life. So that's why I have to achieve great things. So this fight for me is very important, not just to fight it, but also to win it and to show to shock the world. I'm a big underdog in this fight, and it's perfect by me. I'm gonna be the same in the ring.
Is that a role that you cherish? I mean, I don't know that you've ever been an underdog in the past. How have you adjusted to being that? Everybody's saying, David, you're an underdog. It's not words you're used to. It's not words you're used to hearing.
Yeah, well, it's not a problem by me. I know who I am. I have a lot of confidence in myself, and my team does also. This is why we're at where we're at right now. And a lot of fighters duck a lot of fighters. I don't. Golovkin's a very good fighter, but we are also very good fighters. So being the underdog is just gonna be even better for me when I win. So to me, it makes no difference. I don't really pay attention to those the numbers or the people who give out a lot of show. I'm focused in the fight. I'm fighting Golovkin in the ring. It's me against him, and that's it. Nothing else matters.
Okay, perfect. Thanks very much.
Thanks.
And our next question comes from Bob Vieland from USA Today. Bob, go ahead.
Hey, David, how you doing?
Hey, Bob, how are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. I wanted to ask you, after fighting most of your career in Canada, how important is it for you to come to America and put on a good show for a U.S. audience?
Well, boxing, everybody knows that it's U.S. dominated boxing, and the big TV and everybody's there, so it's very important for me to make sure I create a nice strong fan base in the U.S. And then the world. It's been a very hard work, but it's finally paying off, especially after I fought against Rosado. Coming in the fight in the Barclays Center, at first I got booed, and then when I left the ring, I got a standing ovation. So I think I bring enough to the table, so I can. I'm a fan friendly type of fighter, so I make sure I always respect the fans by giving them the best fights I can.
Do you expect to have a fair amount of Canadian fans in-house for you at the Garden?
Yes, actually I do. There's a lot of Canadians, Quebecers who are coming down to support me. We have a few buses that are coming down to support me. So yes, I have a lot of Canadian fans here that have always been pushing me and motivating me since the beginning of my career, and have been a great help in my great achievements in life in the boxing world. So yeah, I expect a nice crowd from my behalf.
Great. Thank you, David, and best of luck on the 17th.
Thank you, Bob. Thanks.
And our next question comes from George Willis from the New York Post. George, please go ahead.
Hello, everybody. My question is for Oscar. Oscar, we've seen the sport basically dominated by one guy over the last couple of years. Now he's supposedly retired. What's your opinion? Is the sport best when one guy is dominating, like maybe when Tyson was in his heyday and when you were in your time? Or is it like now when there are other people trying to make themselves known and become the best?
Yeah, no, we're definitely going into this very unique era, the next era in boxing, which is very exciting because not only will we be able to witness greatness from one individual fighter, but a handful of fighters. October 17th with Golovkin and Lemieux. The winner obviously will become, the undisputed middleweight champion of the world and will be recognized as the very best. And we have November 21st with Canelo Cotto. We have another superstar in the making in whoever wins that matchup. So boxing was dominated in the past by one individual, whether it was Tyson, whether it was me or Julio Cesar Chavez, Mayweather in recent years. So we have exciting times to look forward to because we will be able to witness several champions who will carry the sport for years to come.
And where do you see boxing now? I know a lot of people were disappointed with the Mayweather-Pacquiao, and they stayed away from Mayweather's last fight. Do you see an opportunity there to, I don't know if it's revive the sport, but to take it to a different sort of level than trying to, have 2 million pay-per-view buys and generate $400 million? Is it good to sort of get back to the basics again?
Well, it's always great to get back to the basics, but the Mayweather era was not about the respect. It was not about seeing who is the very best. It wasn't about the fight. It was about the business. And what we're witnessing here with Golovkin and Lemieux, it's about honor and pride. It's about who is the best middleweight in the world. The same with Canelo Cotto. So as long as we can give the fight fans the best fights possible, boxing will always continue to grow. The fight fans will continue to buy pay-per-view, and will we see another 4 million pay-per-view fights? Absolutely. As long as we can keep on putting the best against the best.
Mm-hmm. Oscar, appreciate it.
Thank you.
And our next question comes from Frederick Daigle from the Canadian Press. Frederick, please go ahead.
Yes, good afternoon. My question is for Mark Ramsey. I would have liked to hear your thoughts on Abel Sanchez talking about Triple G having a higher boxing IQ, and if, like David earlier, you could answer in both in English and French, that would help me.
To be honest, I don't really care right now. I don't really focus on what Hbo Sanchez say or don't say, because the night of the fight is going to be Golovkin against Lemieux. It's not going to be me against Hbo or something else. And if you look at the three last fight of David Lemieux, I really believe that the three trainer of the three last opponents really underestimate the ability and the IQ of David Lemieux to box. Like when people look at David Lemieux on video, for sure, the first thing you see that guys have a lot of power, but they underestimate the ability of David Lemieux and also his ring IQ, and they're going to be the next one to be surprised.
Si tu peux me le faire en français, j'aimerais ça.
Oui, juste que je porte à peu près pas d'attention à ce que, en ce moment, ce que Hbo Sanchez peut dire ou faire. C'est pas quelque chose qui est important. On est concentré sur ce que nous on veut apporter à ce combat-là. La seule chose que je peux dire, c'est que dans les trois derniers combats, c'est le feeling que j'ai eu de voir les entraîneurs des derniers opposants sous-estimer un petit peu la qualité de boxeur puis l'intelligence de ring de David Lemieux. Ils ont tous payé le prix pour ça. Puis si Hbo s'en va dans cette direction-là, ben, il va être le prochain sur la liste à être surpris.
Anything you've done differently for this fight, preparation-wise?
No, we train like we train usually. For sure, we have a specific opponent. We analyze very well Mr. Golovkin, but at the same time, it's very important for us to what David Lemieux can bring to that ring and impose the night of the fight. Not only follow what is Gennady Golovkin, but impose what is David Lemieux. What he can bring to that ring is very important, and we did a very good job at it in the last 8 weeks.
Peux-tu te redemander de traduire une dernière fois?
Bien sûr. Simplement que, écoutez, on fait des camps d'entraînement, habituellement c'est toujours un peu sur le même modèle. Maintenant, on a un adversaire qui est spécifique. C'est sûr qu'on l'a étudié, on l'a bien regardé, on connaît ses forces, ses faiblesses, mais en même temps, on est très concentré aussi sur qu'est-ce que David Lemieux, lui, peut imposer le soir du combat, et non pas être toujours... Quand on regarde seulement que l'adversaire, on est souvent là, on suit souvent la stratégie de l'autre personne, on se concentre beaucoup plus sur l'autre que sur qu'est-ce que nous on peut apporter dans un combat de boxe. Alors, c'est pas le cas avec notre équipe. On est très conscient de ça, et puis David va imposer son style le 17.
Merci beaucoup.
Ça fait plaisir.
And our final comment comes from Mike Woods from The Ring and The Sweet Science. Mike, please go ahead.
Actually, already asked and answered. Thanks. We'll see you guys soon.
Okay, thanks, Mike. Now I'd like to introduce David for his final comments. David, do you have any final comments?
October 17th, history will be made. It's going to be a fight to be talked about for years to come, and I'm extremely excited to be part of this great event and to be showing the world, a great night of boxing. And unifying those titles is the absolute goal for me on October 17th. Thank you.
Thanks, David. Mark Ramsey, do you have any final comments from today's conference call?
No, just say to the people that all pieces of the puzzle are together right now, and just don't miss the show. It's going to be a great event of boxing.
Thank you, Mark. Camila, Stefan, any final comments today? Camille?
We'd simply like to thank, yes, hello. We'd like to simply thank everybody for being there, being attentive to what we're doing, and bringing boxing to the levels that it's been for so many years. It's the sweet science, and these guys are going to contribute to the history, and we're very, very confident that we're going to have a new superstar in David Lemieux. To repeat Oscar's words, we have a great team around us with Oscar, Bernard, Eric, Mark. I feel like we've done truly all our homework, and if we've been underestimated, then the price will be paid.
Thank you so much, Camille. And now to make the closing comments for this call, Oscar De La Hoya, Chairman and CEO of Golden Boy Promotions. Go ahead, Oscar.
Thank you very much, everybody, for being on the call. Like everyone said, we're all excited. October 17th will be One for the ages. Will be exciting. Will be historical. Champion versus champion. The sold-out arena will be a great indication that this event will be a total success all around. So we will see you fight week. We have a lot of exciting updates and a lot of we have the training session. We have the media workout. So we'll see you in New York. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This concludes today's conference. Thank you for participating. You may now disconnect.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.